Hello everyone, my name is Akshobhya and today I'm going to show you how to actually work with the Pheonix App API module. Well, I am here and got myself a Jupyter notebook, and today I'm going to show you in Jupyter notebook. So the first thing you need to do is to import it, and to import it you have two options. Either you can import the entire module, or either you can import only two files, which is the main and the API file. Well, the API file includes all the functions, so you can just use that instead. And it was created by me myself, so I know how this works. So first we're going to do is from Pheonix App API import main, API. So once this is done, this is our main line that's going to be in first one. And I'm going to add a new cell here. So once our entire module is gotten installed or basically imported, we can move on to the next step. And the next step is actually initializing it. So we can either set the parent directly, but I would prefer to use the initialization with a variable like this. So I'm just adding an underscore just to differentiate between main and this variable. So if I do this, I'm going to do this main.PheonixAppAPI. And note, this Pheonix is actually purposely spelled wrong because that's actually a module's name. So let's move on to the next step. Then here we're going to do this and initialize. Hope I spelled that wrong, right. And just a note, you can actually set this to false, so you don't have to log in or sign up into the Pheonix App API. But there's one thing you need to know about Pheonix App API. It's a very important part, okay? The thing is, whenever you are installing Pheonix App API, after it's installed, you need to go to the place where it's stored and run into the scripts folder in the Pheonix App API and run a script called post installation. It installs every single required file and creates every single required file. As you can see here, this is the actual Pheonix App API folder, and inside the scripts file, it's called post install, and that's what you want to run. Hope that was clear. Now let's continue. Here, I'm going to add another cell, which is going to be just setting the API. So I'm going to do is API.setParent. They basically help the API to get himself a parent so he can use the entire every single thing. So this initialization is very important and is required. So you should do it every single time. Let me just get the variable in there. So now I have done most of the part, and now we can start up doing anything you want. For this tutorial, I'm going to give you little small details of how do you actually work with Pheonix App API. So today, it is going to be a day. I'm going to tell you about the encoders and decoders. Okay, so to use the encoder and decoder, you have to use their classes, which is API.encode and API.decode. Well, actually, it's API.encoder and then API.decoder. I always get confused between these things. I don't know why did I name them that way, but yeah. So what you're going to do is, I'm just going to make an encoder variable here to keep them, just in case. And we're going to have it like API.encoder. Now, the encoder requires a couple of things. The first thing is the message, and the second thing is the type. So the first message I'm going to place up. The message I'm going to place up. Sorry for the accidental pronunciations. I'm kind of pronouncing them wrong. I don't know why, but it's there. Okay. Anyways, let's continue. In API.encoder, we need to put the message. Let's say I put hello world. Wait, that's the wrong spelling of hello. Oh, come on. Not even in the scripts. Okay. Now, what we're going to do is specify the type. There's a lot of types in Pheonix App API, and those are hypespace, Pheonix UTX, or Pheonix NTX H1. There's also one more type, which is hypespace BIN or hypespace binary, and that type is basically hypespace but in binary. Now, there's also one more type, which is very, very helpful, and it will be covering that in this tutorial. It's maps. Map is basically a custom language dictionary which the program can use to encode and decode. Now, of course, this will be saved inside a file and will be encoded using some of these pre-made encoders. Now what we're going to do, I'm going to specify hyperspace for today. Here we go. And now we just hit the word encode. So basically that's it, but I'm not going to do it in this one because it's the actual encoder. We'll click a new cell and then let me print encoder here. Okay, so I'm just gonna I'm gonna run the cell and do it at once. Okay, advance. Okay, here we go. As you can see, I got myself the API encoder object here. Now we'll actually print the real thing, which is API encoder dot encode. It should be encode right there. Now if we run this one too, we get the actual encoded message, you can see. So this is how it's actually done, and if you didn't know, then now you know. Let's move on. Here, after we have done basic encoding, let's go and talk about how much can we do from the encoder. There's a lot of things we can do from the encoder. The encoder has an encode function, encode map function, remove maps, and mostly of maps only, because maps is a very important class. But first, let's also talk about decoders. I'm going to copy this string right here, and I'm going to do is make a decoder variable, and it's going to be this. Now, decoder of course requires a message just like the one here. Thing is, it doesn't work because it actually has inverted commas, so I have to change the inverted commas here so it works. Now it also requires a type, which is of course very common because you need a type to actually work with the encoder and decoders. So I'm going to specify hyperspace again because that's what the original type. You need to have the original type to actually decode this stuff. So that's actually basic maths or stuff like that. I don't know what you call them. So basically I use hyperspace here, and then basically I just do is decoder dot decode. It's actually capital D, just note that and close this. Now I'm gonna run this and run this. As you can see, I got the exact same message, hello world. This is a very good technique and is used by many softwares around the world, but what they use is something known as UTF-16. Now, you can actually use the UTF-16 by using the binary state, but we're not going to talk about the binary class or object to state or whatever in today's tutorial, because that is a huge class with a lot of functions. Today, we are only going to take it small and learn about encoders and decoders. Now, let's move on to the final thing, maps, which will take a little small while. Anyways, let's continue. Now, first, we need a map reference. So, now in AkshobhyaAPI, I'm going to actually show you the code, okay? Nothing of me anything, I'm actually going to show you the code now. Here's the actual code. In this, it's a lot of functions, and it uses a lot of things, but we only need to talk about the one thing is maps. And it's here, the maps class. It will have a lot of functions like create map, push map, and stuff. Let's come back into this and let's use this now. So we're gonna go in API.maps. Okay, now our maps is defined, and we can now do this. So I'm just gonna run this one just to define the maps real quick. Now, after the maps has been defined, as you can see, the API for maps, encodable and decodable languages, we are going to firstly create ourselves a brand custom map. Now, we can do things using this. Now, you can actually paste your own dictionary if you want, but the one thing I love about this that I've done is it can actually generate its own map randomly and can save it into a file. I'll show the file also later. First, let's start by making the map. So I'll call it map1, and I'll call it I'm gonna go create map. So map1 will be map.createMap. So we're gonna do the map.createMaps maps.createMap, and then it's basically gonna create us a brand new map. Okay, so the create map function is actually defined in a way that it creates a random map. If you want to actually use the map, you can push the map, get the map, or remove the map, etc., etc. There's a lot of things. So if you want to actually put the map, you have created the map on your own already, and you want to use that map, you actually need to do push map, because create map function only creates maps, doesn't do anything. So it just creates maps. So I'm creating a map right now, and the keys, you can specify which keys you want, which keys you don't. Currently set to every single key in the keyboard. As you can see, I'm showing you here. As you can see, every single key on the keyboard, which is around 104, I guess. And there's a lot of keys. There are more keys on the keyboard, and this is the only keys that are right typeable. Okay, the keys are typeable. So let's get back in here. In the create map now, what I have to do is do nothing and just run this code. Once that is done, it would create myself a map. Let's try printing that map. It was map 1, right? Let's print the map, and as you can see, the entire map has been generated randomly. Now let's continue. So here, let's say I want to push the map so I can use it later. To do that, all you need to do is just push the map. Yeah, that's it. The function name is only push map. So you have to do is you're gonna do map underscore dot push map, and in there you have to give the name of the map, which I'm gonna define as my custom map, and then I'm gonna add another part, which is actually our own map. I don't know why I specify string there. You need to do is map1, and it would actually push our map. So if you run this, boom, this entire thing has been just pushed into our code. I'll show you. This is proof. If we go to Pheonix app files and go into the map bar, you'll actually find the ENC maps. It was just 13 seconds ago. If we open this thing, this is actually encoded format. Yeah, it's crazy. It's big, and crazy. It's currently in compressed format. Yeah, literally compressed format. I'm shocked myself. How did I even do this? Like, it's compressed format. This makes no sense at all. It's still uses the hyperspace binary, as you can see here. This is the core that every single language uses, and this is actually a little thing that allows my decoder to actually do it without a map. So it can decode without maps of this, without pre-made maps. Just a note, because it can find the maps on its own, but for the made maps, it has to know the maps. So now let's see how do we decode the maps. So first we need to learn how to encode using this map. So the map we just created, let's encode this using map underscore dot. Wait, that's the map bar, right? I'm dumb. We need to use encode. And I'm going to make a new encode class here. The first will be actual message. Let's just say hi this again. I'm going to say hi this time, actually not hello world. And for the type, you need to put map. Yeah, this time you have to put map, not what you think. Random stuff. Anyways, let's continue. So after that part is done, you need to actually encode it. Now to do this, not normal encode, okay, because it doesn't know the map yet. To use a map, you also know the name of the map. You should know the name of the map, but that would release in 0.3.1 because 0.1.3 was a patch release. Anyways, let's continue. So here, what we need to do is .encode map. So encode map. Now we need to give it a map. And thankfully, I've saved my entire map into one file called map1, but we are learning about how to get out maps. So you need to know how to get out maps, right? Yes, sure, let's do that. So we're going to use map. We're going to do maps. Hopefully that was right. Now it was map. So we do map dot get map this time. Using the get map function, which is even defined here, as you can see in the maps function, get map. This just requires a name and a map that retrieves and decrypts the map from the decrypted file. This is totally on accident. I am telling you, it wasn't here. We do get map and we give our map I'm just going to copy the name I used here because that's the only thing, my custom map here. My custom map. So we're going to use a name and we're going to enter we're going to run basically. So now we have gotten ourselves my map and use it. Now let's print it. encode. And yes, you would be thinking that I should make the thing, right? But like I should make the object the encode class instead of doing the entire function. Just who cares? I'm not gonna use the encode again. Anyways, so here after printing encode, you can see we get AOS code map, which is actually a correct example of using a map. So let's now decode it and find out do we actually get high. To do this, we just need to do is simply decode, use the decode function. So decode equals to API dot decoder. Now this time I'm going to show you without using the type variable. Last time we used type, this time not going to use type. And it only works in decoder because encoder requires type to actually encode stuff. So let's do decode, put the actual message in. And now we just go decode map. The thing why you require to do decode map in here, even though we don't need to write a type, is very simple. Basically, the only logical answer for this is you require a map file, and just to make the code a little tiny and more understandable, I've placed a new function, but on later updates, if you want, I can cancel it out. So let's use decode map, and then we use the same thing, map underscore dot get map, and we're gonna say my custom map. Here we go. So this should work if I'm right. Okay, now we're just gonna print decode dot decode map. Wait, we just need to print that. I again wrote the function, and as you can see, we got the actual right answer, high. Proof, we got high, which is the actual right answer. Now that's it. Don't have much for maps and stuff anyway, because who's carrying around a map every day? But just for clearing, I'm gonna remove the function. I mean my map. I'm gonna remove the map. So to do that, we need to do is map underscore dot remove map. As you can see, it might be here. Remove maps. I forgot an S there, even though I created the code. Yeah, remove map. It requires a mood and our names list. But the thing is, all you need to do is our 3 moods, put one of them, and then put the name of your thing in the list. Name of your map you want to remove. But for today, the 3 maps. Remove 1 using normally, remove 2 the list, and remove all of them at once after doing that. So hopefully that should work. Okay, I've gone ahead and made 4 maps actually, because I just thought for the list let's do 2. And let's start. Firstly, I just want to show you the file, and I think it's gonna be big, and if you think as me, it's kind of true. These things can become really big in less time. As you can see, this is the only by making 4 maps, this is the amount of things is there. Just to note, this thing goes like, I don't know where, I just know this is huge. And if you open it in any IDE software like VS Code, it actually all comes with one single line. So Jupyter Notebook is just be like, hey, you can't reach a line and stuff, and then just appends a line in there. But this is how it's done. These are the end map. So let's start by removing 1 map. So let's do map underscore dot remove map. Remove maps actually. And then you need to place the name of the map as mood actually first, and then the name in a list. So for the first one, I'm gonna make 1. I'm gonna write 1 there. As you can see in the moods, I have provided you with a good part, and it's 1 list and all. First, let's do 1, and I'm gonna firstly remove my custom map. Okay, I'm gonna remove that thing. So just to confirm it actually removes, I'm gonna show you. And after it's removed properly, I'm going to try to retain it. So let's try to print map underscore dot get map my custom map. If I try to run this thing, didn't run. As I said, my custom map is not present. And that gives us the answer, it's been removed thanks to the remove maps. Now, and by the way, just a note, if it takes time to load, don't worry. In the side, it won't show a number, but rather show something like asterisk. That thing is basically, that just means that it's time for you to end. It's basically error. Okay, so let's remove more maps. I'm gonna use this thing, just remove them faster. So I'm gonna be like, hey, my custom map, I'm gonna remove. This time I'm gonna use 1 and to do my custom map 2 and my custom map 3. Now, one thing you can actually do with this is actually specify 1 and also put 2, but it will use the first one. So, but for the sake of the video, let's do list. Let's run this. Should work normally. Now, again, I don't want to show you because it's going to take a long time, but I'll just show you the enc maps file. As you can see, it has been highly shortened, I can tell you that much. And now let's move on. And this time, I'm going to remove every single thing and let's see how big the file is then. Currently, there's only 1 map in there. Actually, 4 maps in there. So let's do all. I don't need to specify anything here. And even when I run this, let's open the enc maps, and as you can see, it has been decreased so significantly after deleting every single thing. But you would ask me, what is this then? This is basically the default maps that are coming inside, and I'll show you what maps are there. So if I open the actual map file for storing and creating maps, we go down to the first thing, which is create maps. Actually, push maps. You can see if it doesn't exist here. If OSL path exists, then don't do anything. But here we actually put something which is example key value. That's actually just an example map, and it's not a pre-made map. But according to what I've been thinking, I would actually add all the pre-made maps into using the map file and then update some things. And I'll also add a legacy folder for the people who want to use this method again. But yeah, this is how you do it. And yeah, and also note, you can actually delete this file if you want. So I'm gonna delete it right here through VS Code. As you can see, the file has been deleted. So I think that's it for today. And